Okay, so today we're going to look at how you add, subtract, and multiply with those square roots. And so if you go ahead and look at this expression, it says we have 5 root 2 plus 7 root 2 minus 6 root 2. This problem right here is very similar to the following problem. Okay. Now, if I were to solve this problem here in purple, what would I get? 6x, because basically all I'm doing is adding 5 plus 7 and then subtracting 6. This problem here is no different. It's the exact same problem, just instead of having an x, it has a root 2. So in this case, I see I've got 5 root 2, 7 root 2, minus 6 root 2. So I'm going to take 5 plus 7 and subtract 6. And what do you get? 6, and my answer will be root 2, just as it was with the x. You don't do anything to the root 2. You leave it alone. And that is your final answer. Okay, pretty straightforward. Let's look at the next one. 10 root 7 plus 5 root 11 plus 4 root 7 minus 6 root 11. Does somebody want to take a guess as to what you think the solution here is? Yeah.
You add the 7 together and then the 10 and the 4 and then the 5.
Okay, so tell me what you think the answer would be.
14, 7, 7.
Okay.
Then negative 1, 7, 11.
Okay, good. Now, if you didn't catch what was happening right there, the only ones you can combine are the ones that have like terms. So I'm going to take the 10 root 7 and I'm going to add 4 root 7 to it. And then you get 14 root 7. Now the 5 root 11 here and the negative 6 root 11 here are not like terms with the root 7. So I have to treat those differently, separately. And so I actually have 2 different parts to my answer, and that is your final answer. Questions? Let's look at this one. So with that same process in mind, what would this solution be? Okay, 4 root 3, negative 8 root 5. Very good. So I've got 15 root 3, negative 11 root 3, negative 14 root 5, and 6 root 5. And then I get 4 root 3 minus 8 root 5. Now obviously you know that, obviously, let's go back. Good grief, there we go. Obviously you know they aren't all going to be that easy. And so we look at this problem right here. Okay, and we notice we have a root 54 and a root 24, so I can't add them together as they are, so I need to think if there's some way I can simplify those. So what do you notice is different in this problem versus all the other ones we looked at? There's only one of each. What else? Just specifically with the numbers themselves. They're divisible by 2. What do you notice about these numbers? They're a lot bigger than the ones we looked at, right? I mean, the ones we were looking at were like 5, 6, 7, 11, and all of that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and simplify those. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to break down root 54 the way we learned the last 2 days. So you need to break down root 54 the same way. When you get done with root 54, you need to do the same thing with root 24. So when you get done with the 54, with our little factor tree, you need to do the exact same thing with 24. You guys get through at 6? Now, Now you're almost done, but you got to bring down that 4. Okay, from up above. So when you bring down that 4, it becomes 12 root 6. Okay, now we got to do the same thing with the 24. So did you break 24 down?
Yep.
Okay, so we got 4 and 6, 2 and 2, 2 and 3. So I can take out a pair of 2's. So really that's 2 root 6. But you need to bring down this plus 2. So really, what does that become? 4 root 6. So now, what is my final answer going to be on this problem? 16 root 6. All right, let's try another one of those. 4 root 12 minus 6 root 48. So we know we can't combine them. So what we're going to want to do now is break down both 12 and 48. So I want you to try and do this one all in its entirety. Okay, so you try and do this one in its entirety, start to finish. So I just want you to do this part right here.
You want me to add the 4 to it too?
Yeah. Yep. So you do everything from that 4 root 12. Okay, so we went ahead and had the first one put up. Now we're going to have the minus 6 root 48 put up. Okay, good job. Okay, so there you go. So we get 8 root 3 from 4 root 12, and we get 24 root 3 from 6 root 48. When I combine those, my final answer is negative 16 root 3. Okay. Questions? Alrighty. So let's go ahead and look at this. This is the last type of problem you're going to have today. Okay, now once again, this is a concept we're going to kind of spend some time on. This is root 3 times the quantity root 7 plus 3 root 2. So I want you to think about what would happen if instead of this, I have 3 times x plus 2. What would you do? You would distribute, right? And when you distribute, you would take the 3 times the x, and you would add that to
6.
3 times 2, which is 6. So then really you get 3x plus 6. We're going to do the exact same concept with that problem. So in this problem, what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the root 3. So I now have root 3 times root 7. plus root 3 times 3 root 2. So now I need to simplify things. First of all, can I break down 3 or 7? No. So really, this is root 21. Okay. Over here, can I break down the root 3 or the root 2? So really, what is that going to be?
3 root 6.
3 root 6, because notice you still have that 3 right here that goes outside. And then that is your final answer. You can't combine those because they are not like terms, so you leave them as such. Let's go ahead and look at another one of those. 5 root 3 times 3 root 2 minus root 3. So what do? Distribute. So when I distribute that, I've got 5 root 3 times 3 root 2 minus, what do I have?
5 root 3 minus
5 root 3 times root 3. So over here, I have 5 and a 3 outside the square root. So that's 15. 15 root 6, very good, because then I have the root 3 here and the root 2 here. Minus 5, I have root 3 times root 3. Let's think about that. Isn't that this? Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, can you break any of the 3's down? No, but what do you notice you have? You have a pair of 3's. So when I have a pair of something, what do? I take out the 3. What's left inside the square root once I take those 3's out?
X.
Nothing. Okay? And so what is 5 times 3? 15. So my final answer here is actually 15 root 6 minus 15. Another way to view this, if you're struggling with this one right here, what is 3 times 3? 9. What's the square root of 9? 3. So that's another way to view it. If the pairs kind of confused you, look at it as it's the square root of 9. All right, so for some, actually Friday, I need you to do 14 through 22 on page 638. So let's go ahead and look at that, page 638, 14 through 22. Right there you have 9 problems. Now tomorrow you're going to get a worksheet that's a little longer. It's probably going to be close to 20 problems, okay, on this section. Okay, so for Friday, page 638, 14 through 22.